Mhm. Okay. So I asked everybody in the group if they had any questions that they wanted to go over, if they had any feelings from this past week, or just anything that they're needing help with. And you guys also have the ability, like if I go over something tonight and it sparks another question, just throw it in the chat and I'll answer it for you. So my first one was, okay, I'm going to introduce myself if you don't know me. My name is Kayla. I am your diamond leader with It Works. I've been with the company for a year now, and um, Sarah Neerman is my upline. She asked me to join the business on Instagram, and I laughed it off. At that time, I was in a full-time job. I was pregnant. I was like 6 months pregnant, and I don't know. I just thought it was silly. Like I never posted on Instagram. My Facebook was pretty like empty as well. So I just didn't really think I would be good at this. Plus I had done something in the past and I'd spent way too much money doing it. So I don't know. I figured that was like, I had my chance with network marketing and this meant that I couldn't do it again. Um, but things changed and I want to remind you guys of that, like timing for people. That's it. Like a lot of you girls are trying to get, to grow your team, and it takes time. It takes time because it doesn't just have to be like in a spot where you're talking to somebody. It has to be right for them too. So in my experience, like I watched Sarah after that. I watched every single post that she did. I didn't like anything. I didn't comment on anything. I didn't want her to know that I was even thinking about doing something like this. I was too scared, really. And I ended up having Wade, and then like 8 weeks later, I decided that I was going to quit my job, my full-time job, and figure it out. We didn't have a lot of savings saved up, and it like quickly ran out. So I had to look for a part-time job. I had a resume all typed up. So it just felt like defeat because I really wanted to quit my job and be able to raise my kid from home. So all of a sudden now I'm like looking for night shifts and waitressing jobs, and I remembered Sarah. So I messaged Sarah. I asked her every question in the book for like 2 days straight, and I kind of like ignored her, and then I went onto her Instagram where her website was located, and I joined and didn't tell her until like an hour later because I had read through everything. I was like, oh God, what did I just sign up for? So scared. Um, and after that, I ran with it. I literally messaged everybody on my friends list. So this is actually going to come up with a question. I messaged everybody on my friends list, and within like 2 weeks, I had to start growing my warm market again. I had already gone through like everybody I knew. I had reached my four loyal customers, but I had to like beg and plead my grandma to do it. Okay. Like she ended up being one of my best customers though. She ordered for like 10 months. But I had to like really just like, grandma, I just need one more sale. And I'm like, I've reached my first goal, okay? And she's like, yeah, well, I don't know if I'm interested in anything. And she really wasn't, I'm not gonna lie. Like she was my best customer, but she didn't care a single thing about those products. So she signed up and all these great things happened, but I ran out of my warm market. So I ran out of everybody to talk to, and I had to start growing. And I stopped messaging for a little while. I stopped talking to people, and I just kept adding and adding and adding and adding and adding and adding and adding. Pretty much every little like time I had my phone in my hand, I was adding people and I was interacting. I made sure back then they did like this nine post rule. Nowadays I only post anywhere between 1 to 3 times a day, and a lot on my Insta story. I don't really have like a set number for my Instagram stories. That's just kind of like my day-to-day life, and whatever sparks my creativity, I just kind of throw it on there. But I added all these friends, and then I started interacting, and then it started building my market up. And I love Instagram. For that, I love Instagram because I can meet people all across the globe, and it isn't just people in New York or I feel that like Facebook is a little bit more personalized. So it takes a little bit longer to build that relationship. Most of my teammates and distributors I've enrolled through Facebook. Most of my LCs though are all on Instagram. And just keep growing your market. I think it took me like 2 straight weeks. I was feeling a little frustrated, I won't lie. Because all of a sudden now, like, I went from enrolling to not being able to enroll because I didn't know anybody. And I didn't want to scare anyone off. So I had to like take some time between messaging and then talking again. But once that happened, like, it kind of continued this flow of adding friends, posting, and messaging. So now I do it consecutively and I don't have to have that pause, if that makes sense. Instagram stories I have found are really nice ways to just relate with people on a more personal level. Liking pictures on Instagram, most people don't read the captions. So like, I think it's like a crazy percentage that does not read your captions on Instagram. So a lot of the time, like, I try to get more of their attention from my Instagram stories. And my page is now public. Like, that I feel is a personal preference. It used to be private, but I've noticed the algorithm change and it has boosted a lot since I've started to kind of utilize hashtags and my stories more. So I'm getting more followers and more friends. Facebook, how I add friends on Facebook, it's been the birthdays, actually. So I'll pick somebody who's got a birthday today, and if they have a few mutual friends, I'll go to their page, check into their friends list, and let me look because I can never remember what it says. So you go into see all friends, and then at the very top of that page, it says get to know this person's friends. You click that, and you can actually physically see the profile of every single person on their friends list. And you just go through and you kind of find people that, you know, you'd think you'd relate to, people that, I don't know, I just feel like I'd be friends with. So I add them. I don't add men, just women that look 18 or older. And once they've added me back, I will actually comment on their page and I'll like some of their stuff. If it's somebody who has like an icky page, you know what I mean? Like, it's just not, like, curse words are all over the place. There's crazy memes that you just don't want to be associated with your business, because how I look at this is this is your, like, this is no longer your personal page. This is like an actual job. Like, your Facebook and Instagram needs to be professional. So I don't want my friends posting like just stuff that I find not interesting or just negative energy, any of that kind of stuff. Like, I won't have you. If you're in a different network company, I won't be friends with you. The only sometimes I let pass is the unique girls, but usually they don't answer to me. And if they do, it's somebody who's local in the area and I already know them. What else? So that's making friends. Somebody asked me, they wanted to know more about specifics for the products and like people's experiences. So for testimony, if you ever really want, like, Post for Customers page will have some stuff. Product Coach, you can always go to, it's productcoach.myitworks.com. It's a website that will tell you everything about all of the products, and that is actually like what we're allowed to say to customers. So we can't tell people like, hey, greens are going to boost your milk supply while you're nursing for your children. Like, that's a no-no. That's a medical claim, and like we're not approved by the FDA, so we can't say that kind of stuff. But Product Coach will tell you that kind of information. So if somebody asks like, hey, can I take this while I'm pregnant? you can go into My Product Coach and it'll actually tell you. You just type in the question. I did it today. Somebody asked me which products were vegan, and all I did was do vegan or animal cruelty. Like, it's all in there. If you have a question, though, that isn't in there, like, you can just ask us and we might know, or I might be able to direct you in the right direction. So there's that. How to train new distributors who are constantly sending screenshots while balancing and working your own business, but not leaving them hanging. Okay. So I think this is like, it was one of my harder ones in the very beginning of leading a team, because you constantly want to answer your phone. I think it's an impulse that we get. You're constantly just sitting there waiting for the next one, and it makes you anxious, and then you feel like you're never leaving your phone. So for my newbies, I'm there for you guys like all through the day, but at night I usually take an hour, and then in the morning I take an hour to myself where I mute everybody. I mute everybody and I just work my own business and I message. Because if I don't, I'm not gonna work my own business. I'm just gonna keep talking to my team. You know what I mean? And then with my busy, crazy schedule, it just kind of depends. Like, I try to work when Wade is sleeping. So if that means I have to wake up a little bit earlier, I'm going to do it. If it means I'm going to go to bed a little bit later, I'm going to do it. Like, I'm sorry. I used to be that person who said, hey, I need 8 hours of sleep every night. And then I started doing this business and really pushing myself. And I'm telling you, I'm okay with like 5. After that, I feel like I'm pushing it. I'm like really cranky. So I've just learned around my schedule, and this way I can be home with my kid. That's how I look at it. Like, I don't have to do a normal 9 to 5. Okay, so I got another question. How long do you reach out to new DTs who aren't responding before you move on and let them go? If it's like 3 days in a row and somebody hasn't contacted me back, I just kind of give them their space, especially if I've asked, you know, if I've upset you. Either life is going on in your life and you're not ready to open up to me about it, or you're scared and like you're just not communicating it with me. I don't know what's going on, but I can't drag you down and like keep going. You know what I mean? It's your $99 to spend, and it's your business to run. If you don't want to run it, it's your choice at the end of the day. After that, I'll try to reach out like every so often just to see how they're doing. Because in my head, like I know why these people joined. Like, they've told me. They've had these conversations, and you never know. Like I said, the timing might just be off and they'll talk to me about it later. I've had that happen. What other did I have for questions? I feel like, do you put non-working distributors on your chart? No. No. If somebody is not working, I just start over. Because it's so hard to get somebody who's already like told themselves that they can't do it to get that spark back. So for my chart, I'll talk to them. I'll check in with them if I have to, but if they are not working, they are not going to be actually on my chart. I want a chart full of working people. Maybe you could get by with like a whole chart of not working people with executive and Ruby, because that's what I did. Okay, I got me to executive, and then I got my husband to help me out, and I got to Ruby because he joined. But other than that, like, an emerald and up position is a leadership position, so you need workers on. And to be honest with you, for Ruby, like, you should have a strong foundation. If you don't, like, it's only going to ripple effect in the future for your emerald and then your diamond, and then you're not going to have those strong legs, and what are you building off of? You know what I mean? It's just going to, like, you're going to feel exhausted, you're going to feel drained, you're going to like just burned out. And you don't want that. So how I look at it is like, this is my business. Okay, I'm going to do this for the rest of my life. My job is to enroll customers and distributors. So I'm going to do it every single month. I'm going to do it every single month. And I would prefer, like, I want a really strong team. You just, like I said, you don't want non-workers on your team. That's not gonna, you want to help other people promote. But if they're not enrolling for themselves, you're working two businesses. And like I said, that just eventually, it burns you out. And then you become frustrated and you can't figure out what's going on because your team, or your team's not promoting. It's because you're doing all the work. Shelby, I know that you look for specifics, so I hope I'm like helping. I'm sorry if I'm too vague for you. What do you define as a non-working distributor? Somebody who's not posting, who's not sending screenshots, who's not answering my messages. And not checking in with their team. That's a non-working distributor. Somebody who's not enrolling, like, I mean, you're literally just not doing anything. If you're posting, I'm not going to assume that you're not messaging, but if you're upset that you're not getting results, then you should start sending your upline screenshots, because there might be a gap in your communication or your wording. I've done it. I've done it. Like, I still send screenshots to my upline. Every now and then I'm like, something is missing. Like, I can't figure out from here to here, because I switch it up all the time. But your communication, like, everything is so different versus text. Like, somebody might be saying something and you're interpreting it totally different. So you need a set of eyes. So that's why I look to my upline and I'm like, hey, what do you think of this? Should I say this, this, and this? And it'll help you seal the deal a lot faster, to be working as a team. You know what I mean? Like, it's super beneficial for you and just everybody all around. Does anybody else have any other questions? So I don't know about you guys, but I loved Jade's team call last night. And because I feel like I'm that person who, do I prefer to go live on Instagram or Facebook? I prefer to go live on Facebook. I have actually not gone live on Instagram because the only reason why I don't like Instagram is it only keeps the live up for 24 hours. And most of the time, I don't know if you've ever watched the stories, but like, if somebody goes live, I just skip over it. It's too long. I'm usually looking at these Insta stories and I want them to be quick little blurbs. So I just skip over it. And then I think that Facebook Live is way better. And I'm going to tell you a trick. I hate Facebook Live, but you guys can't tell. I actually had and spoke to somebody yesterday who told me that she enjoys my lives. Me, I'm over here like, freaking out all the time right before I go, and I have to have like a 15-minute conversation with myself to push the post button. Hold on. I am on the Wi-Fi. Just give me like another 20 minutes. Okay. Our internet is terrible here. I actually am scared every single time I do a live. I get nervous about trainings. It's just not me. It's not me. But you know what? I feel like every time I've done something like this and broken myself out of my comfort zone, it's only helped my business. Okay. Every time I do a live, I get like 3 to 4 people who message me instantly. And going live doesn't have to be this big complicated thing. there's a girl on my team who goes live and she hates doing it, but you know what? She's doing it on her pace, okay? And most of them are like shorter than 15 minutes long, and she has only talked about her story once, and she hasn't even posted that to like her Facebook. Like, she's scared to do it, but you know what? She's still doing it. She's getting eyes on her Facebook, and every single time she gets messages now in her inbox too. Like, at first it didn't work that way, but the more that people see your face and know that you're a real human like being, they're gonna be like, I want to buy from her. I want to join her team. Like, she's super passionate about what she does. Like, heck yeah, I want to support that. Okay, so that's why I do it. I go live because I want these people to get to know me. Okay, what makes me and sets me apart is I do something a little bit out of the box. So like when I go live, I talk about either something that inspires me, maybe it's a concern from a teammate, or maybe it's a common problem that I'm finding in like when I'm messaging distributors and they're telling me, hey, I don't have time to do this. When really I know like most of my day doesn't go to working this business. It's like hanging out with Wade. I do this in like quick 10-minute intervals or like a power hour in the morning. Like, that's it. That's all you need. And I'll go live, tell people how I feel, and if I get really scared, okay, like I get really nervous about my haters watching, you just swipe, you swipe right, and all of the names and like your viewers will go silent, so you won't even see. And it's not so scary. You just kind of feel like you're talking to yourself. Do you message for distributors or do you flip the script from LC combos? I do both. It depends. I'm way more like brave on Instagram, I think, just because I've been doing it. So like I go right in for the kill with a distributor all the time. Or I switch it up because you can do the unsend and the resend option. So like if I've sent them a distributor a few times, I'll ask them to be a loyal customer, or I'll try to distract them with like, hey, do you have a second to talk? And then I'll ask them if they want to be a distributor or an LC, depending on what their profile looks like. So if it looks like somebody I would want to work with, you know, who I feel is just a good fit for the team. Like, there are some people who message everybody for distributors. I'm a little bit more picky and choosy nowadays. I just, like I said, I take this pretty seriously. Like, this is my job, and I'm only going to ask the people that I really want to work with. How do I unsend and resend? You just click it. Or, okay, so what you would do is, I'm going to go in right now. You click the message that you sent the first time, and if you can't, you can always, you type in where it says write a message and then try typing it or clicking the message, and it should just let you like, let me see what it says. It just says copy or unsend, and you would just press unsend and then it just vanishes. So like nobody saw it, okay? Vanishes, and then you can just ask them another one. Like, I do it to people even if they've seen it before. They're not gonna remember, they're not gonna see it. You've had no success on Instagram. Is there a different way to operate on Insta opposed to Facebook? Instagram is way more interaction. It's way more interaction, and I honestly think that it might take more messaging to get the results that you want. Like, I've messaged over 100 people on Instagram in the past 2 days, and I haven't had an enrollment yet. Whereas if I was to do that on Facebook, I would totally have an enrollment. I know I would. Some people have multiple Instagram accounts for this reason. I have not done that yet. I feel like that's just way more to my plate. Like I said, a lot of it's interacting and getting to know, but you're not the first person who has a hard time with Instagram. I feel like my Instagram definitely took a lot of work until I got like 1,500 followers. And I'm pretty sure there's a few other people on the team who feel that way too. You guys have any other questions Friends list. Okay, I'm gonna tell you, friends list for Facebook is like so good. It's so good. I hate doing it and I hate printing it, and it's so annoying because it costs me time, money, and just stuff that like I don't want to deal with. Usually my printer breaks down halfway through, or I can't download the whole thing, or I can't copy and paste every single name and I have to like do it one by one, whatever the case may be. But it's always so worth it because I can just look at this list and I can tackle it one day at a time. Lately, it's like I want to make sure I'm getting through 1 to 2 pages a day. And I'm also like, when I'm doing this, I'm interacting with these people. So before I message someone, I always like check their page. I will genuinely like look through what they've got. And if it's something that interests me, I'll comment on it. I'll compliment them on their glasses, or ask them, you know, where they got the rug in their picture. I don't know, some, whatever the case may be. I'm actually going to talk to them. I'm going to create that little impression, and then I'm going to message them. I'm going to chat. There are going to be people who say no. There are going to be lots of people who just say no, and that's okay, because no doesn't mean never. It just means not right now. If somebody says that they're not interested, I say, okay, well, if anything, like, I appreciate you taking the time to respond and like getting back to me so quickly. If you change your mind, just let me know. I'm gonna tell you, so many times people change their mind. It's like when I go to Target. I see the dress that's like sitting there on the rack, like staring at me, and then 2 weeks later I go in and I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna buy it. Your posts are gonna be those like those ads, okay, that's going to be keep getting in their face, and they're going to see what you have to offer, and they're going to see how much you love and you're passionate about this business, and then they're going to be like, what's going on? I want to buy some wraps today. And if you go live, like, I'm telling you, it's like totally changed the game for me, where I have to go live like 1 to 2 times a week now. Like I said, I hate doing it, but it really helps. And it's okay if you screw up your first few. I've done that. I've sounded really silly. I've stuttered, gotten really red in the face, not said the right things. I don't know. So my free, yep, Shelby showed her goods on accident. Dude, she got like a lot of views for that though. And it wasn't that bad, okay? It was just like, you could just see her like raw just a little bit when she was trying to rap. But she freaked out, and she like was super scared and almost took it down, but it ended up having like 900 views, I think. Something crazy like that. Super late at night, and it was literally like the shortest live you've ever seen. I can just picture it now. You struggle with posting on Insta stories. I literally don't think about what I'm posting on Insta stories. So like, if Wade's being all cute, I'm like, oh, I want to capture this on film, and I just grab my phone. Or I'm cooking something and like that's my life, I just like put it on Boomerang or something. I don't know, I make it fun. You just get creative. Like, don't be afraid to mess around with the app. You can Google stuff too, ideas. So like I did a 30-day music thing, which has helped a lot. Okay, so like, not only are people replying to my music stuff on Instagram, but they're responding on Facebook too, because I have the stories connected. And just doing something fun like that and like recommending music, people are interested. They're like, hey, what are you listening to? They also have these fun new things that I already know you know about, the little like about me's. Honestly, your little like tidbit that went wrong with your live it's happened before, and I just don't know how to fix it. I've had a girl, like, she ended up having to use her laptop because the phone wouldn't, it just wouldn't do the live audio. I have no idea what it was, but Insta stories, like, and I try to flip it up. So like try to do like a still life and then a video and then just something fun, I guess. I don't know. And I always add like a product post in there. I talk a lot about my business in there and like how it's letting me stay home with Wade, and I always do like a cute little video with him. Just why did you join? If you want to like quit your job, you can always like make jokes. Like Monday, like I made a joke in my Instagram story today about how I hope Monday doesn't see me because I'm tired of Mondays being Monday. You know what I mean? Pinterest is great for that. Sometimes I need a little humor to wake me up in the morning, so I'll look in there and I'll find something funny or a pretty picture. I've done that. Sometimes I like to ask my audience or my viewers just random questions because then it gets them answering my polls. Like my latest one was, do you still have Christmas lights up? Because I do. And not a lot of people do, but you know what? They're answering, so that's all that matters. Like I have like 16 people who answered no to that. I'm like, oh, okay. But the more that they talk to me, shows my posts up in their feed. So whatever you can just helps. I post like anywhere from probably 6 to like 12 times a day. Sometimes I'll do a video clip of myself talking about random stuff that goes on in my life. I had a funny one the other day about how my husky won't go to the bathroom on the leash, just the lead line, and it's a pain in the butt because I have to find it in snow and it's super cold up here and windy, and sometimes it just gets frozen to the ground and it's just like problem after problem after problem, but the husky will not go to the bathroom for me unless I find this lead line. So I just talked to my viewers about it and made it a joke. Just stuff you like. Like I know you've got a dog. I feel like I'm kind of rambling on about it, but Insta stories are just like a trial and error. You keep working at it until you get better. Just like any of this stuff. I take one day at a time. Okay, like I look at it as I just want to enroll customers and distributors, and what I need to do is I just need to keep trying to master that skill every single day. If it means I need to hop on a training and ask my upline 8 million questions, like fine, I'm going to do it. But at the end of the day, like experiencing it for myself is where I'm going to learn. I'm a really big visual person. So even going live, like my upline never told me to go live. She did this month, but that's because she knows I'll do it. It's a challenge. And every time I've done something, like I've pushed myself out of my comfort zone, it's that next step in my business that I need to grow it. Do you know what I mean? It's just, I've taken it to a whole nother level. I've kind of broken out of my shell a little bit. The world is getting to know me a little more, and the universe just kind of like rewards me for that, because at the end of the day, I feel like we are all supposed to be the truest version of ourselves. And sometimes it takes some work. Like, don't compare your story with a rap sister that's underneath you, you know what I mean? Or a sideline or anything like that. Don't be like, okay, well, this person is figuring it out and they have all the enrollments right now, then she must be doing everything right and I must be doing everything wrong, so I can't do it. Like, that's silly. In the beginning, I had like, it's all of this is like 99% mindset, and if you're having hard times kind of finding your groove or just believing in yourself, you need to self-development, like podcasts, you need to read books, you need to continuously to like grow your highest version of yourself. I was not this person that you're talking to like during this training a year ago. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's because I've opened up those kind of doorways for myself, and it's definitely not easy, but it's not impossible, and it takes a lot of work. Like, it's not an easy thing to be like, hey, I'm going to message people today, even though I don't feel like it. Or I'm going to post about, you know, how awesome my life is going to be down the road, even though it's not right now. Because when I joined, I was a crying fool every single day, praying to God, hoping that, you know, like money would just fall from the sky. Have I messaged anyone that has told you that they used It Works products before and they didn't work for them? All the time. And okay, so when they tell me that this has happened, all I do is I ask them, what products did you use? Really? Like, that's all there is to it, because I've used all of their products and all of them have worked. If you are consistent with them and you use them as directed, you shouldn't have any problem. That's why people get so upset about before and afters being distributors, is because distributors are going to be consistent with their products. They have to, in order to sell them, you know? But there are people who try the wrap once, don't take a before and after picture, and then just tell me they don't work because they're not skinny overnight, you know? So you got to figure out like what they mean by it doesn't work. And sorry, I can hear my husband in the other room. Just distracted me. But yeah, so because I know that these products work, we wouldn't be around for 18 years called It Works if it didn't work, you know? So I'm like very lighthearted about it, and I'm like, oh really? I haven't. That's weird. They worked awesome for me. Like some girl did it today. I was like, I lost 30 pounds on these. So what did you use? I'd love to help you get started. You know, if somebody tells me it's the wraps, it's almost always because they didn't take a picture or they didn't use them correctly. I have less than a minute and then it's gonna boot me off. 9 o'clock, guys, is our show me the money call. I'll send it because I have no idea what the actual phone number is. It's just in my phone. I'll send it to the team chats. And if you guys have any other questions, I want to do these weekly. So if you guys want to go over anything specific next week, just let me know. I'll write it down and we'll talk about it. Okay. I think that's it. You guys have a good night.